Hi there, viewers. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I don't know if you missed me because I did miss you guys, and it's been a while. The program has not been coming your way, and that's due to some issues we had on ground. But nevertheless, I am back today, and it's a very, very beautiful Thursday morning. We have a lot of exciteful and interesting segments for you, from the newspaper review segment, This Week in History with Essie Ufoma, and then the entertainment segments. So many things to talk about on the Brunch Show on Value Chain TV. My name is Patience Moses, your host on the show, and today, as promised, there are so many things to unpack for you today. So I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. And after this, we're going to start with the newspaper review segment. Do not go anywhere. All right, thank you so much for staying tuned. Now, this is the newspaper review segment where we review headlines and stories in the nation's papers today. There are so many stories, so many headlines, but we cannot exhaust all of them. So we've picked a few papers that we are going to look at this moment. We are starting with the Matrix newspaper. And now the big story here on this paper says, new minimum wage. FG and labor negotiation deadlocked. Labor backs down, reduces demand to 497,000 naira, rejects FG's fresh 57,000 naira wage proposal. And then ahead of ultimatum, Soludo sets up committee on minimum wage and others. Now, the minimum wage issue has been over, like it's been everywhere. I remember when I was coming to work this morning, so there was this commentary program on a radio station, and then someone called in and said they should stop tossing the minimum wage around. That it is not a commodity you want to buy in the market where you go ahead bargaining and negotiating the price like that. And they are that Nigerians are demanding a living wage, and that if the government know that this is something that is actually going to benefit the masses, then why not go ahead and fix it? Why not go ahead and fix it instead of going around negotiation and fixing prices as though the minimum wage is a commodity at the Nigerian market? So I just hope this committee that has been set up by Soludo comes up and works, and something comes out of all of these minimum wage negotiation, because Nigerians are actually tired and exhausted of hearing the minimum wage crisis going up and forth. Still on the Matrix newspaper, Tinubu reassigns Woke as Nosdra CEO, appoints Ashiru as Oshun River Basin MD. Now, this is also a big story, and congrats to the new CEO of Nosdra. And away from the Matrix newspaper, we are going to the leadership newspaper. And the big story here says, hard times for businesses. 21 companies shut down in Kano in 3 years. Now, this is really tough. Stakeholders blame epileptic power supply, multiple taxes, counterfeiting. We are aware of only 4 companies that moved to Ogun. Kano governor. I don't know, this seems to be contradicting. While reports are saying that 21 companies were shut down, the governments are saying they are aware of just 4 companies who moved to Ogun State, and not 21 companies shutting down. 21 or 4 just moving out or not shutting down. This does not counter the fact that Nigeria's economy is actually in a very, very dilapidating state, with urgent need for rescue. And with all of these, we're calling on all stakeholders in every sector of the economy to come up and do what is needed. And still on leadership newspaper, we are tired of FG's deception. Now, this is coming from ASU. Well, whatever it is they're calling deception, they said they are tired of it and they want something new. And this one says, Abba Kyari granted 2-week bail to bury his mother. He has been on detention for a very long time for issues having to do with drug abuse and all of that. So he has been granted bail to go and fix or attend the burial of his mother. Now, another story here on the leadership is on May 29th. FG opts for low-key celebration. Well, by May 29th, the Tinubu-led administration is going to mark its first anniversary for being in office for a year. And they are saying that this is going to be, the celebration is going to be on a low-key, reasons based known to them, and also saying that looking at security issues in the country, it would be better that the celebration is held on a low-key. Now, away from the leadership newspaper, we're moving to Nigerian News Direct. And the big story here says 1-year anniversary. Tinubu ministers to present scorecard. President has laid foundation for sustainable progress, prosperity in 1 year. And this is coming from the Secretary General of the Federation. Now, ministers are expected to present their scorecard for the past 1 year. How have you been doing? How is your how is the ministry you're occupying? How long and how far? What is the success level? What is the prosperity level that you have been able to acquire? Now, the presidency is asking these of you. So we hope that this doesn't cause some kind of shakings in the cabinet, as news back in the weeks have been saying that there might be chances of a reshuffling of members in the presidential cabinet. Away from Nigerian News Direct, we are moving to Business Day newspaper. BOI, that is Bank of Industry, Nigeria's oldest financier, posts biggest ever profits. Now, this is a very good development. Still on this newspaper, Africa's most productive oil assets get no love from investors. Now, this is a proof that investment in the nation is actually getting facing some challenges. And still says Seplat and ExxonMobil misses another deadline. Rising poverty slows Nigeria's voyage to clean cooking. Now, this is another big challenging issue coming up, in as much as countries around the world are trying to move and transition into cleaner sources of energy. But then people are discovering that this transition is actually going to be more difficult, looking at the fact that it is it's much more capital intensive, and people who need these clean cooking sources and have no access to cheaper alternatives. And so can see that poverty is actually a big hindrance to the transition to other cleaner forms of energy. So if the financial, should I say, factors are considered, and there is a reduction, and people, even the people at the grassroots level, are able to afford this other clean source of energy, then I think the transition journey is going to be much more easier. Yes, still on Business Day, Tinubu's ministers to account for 1 year in office starting today, as other papers have stated. Now, this is also a good one. Away from the Business Day newspaper, we are looking now at the Daily Sun newspaper, which will be the last paper we'll be reviewing today. And the big story here says, FG apologizes over hardship, says policies necessary and already yielding results. Now, this is a big apology coming from the federal government to all Nigerians. We are sorry. Every economic policy that you're seeing, although difficult and challenging, is necessary, and they claim that this is actually yielding good results. Hopefully, I hope we see these results, because I don't know if we are seeing them, and I hope Nigerians accept this apology and learn to bear and be patient with the presidency as things get better. And still on the Daily Sun newspaper, May 29th, government's direct ministers and others to observe low-key anniversary, says tackling insecurity remains top priority. And then government to ban smoking money rituals in Nigerian films. Okay, now this is a big story and let me save it for my entertainment segment. And confusion as 17 Cross Rivers Assembly members impeach Speaker. And Ayambe is saying, I am still Speaker. Vice President Shetima inaugurates Christian Pilgrims Board. Chinese kills female worker in Abia State. Now, this is going to be very, it's going to cause a clash. Youth protest as soldier shoots one. Still on the Daily Sun newspaper, we're looking at the last headline who says, policeman killed, 5 others injured as traders and security agents clash in Jos Market. Now, this is where I'm going to stop on the newspaper review segments. We're running out of time. We cannot exhaust all the papers. As obvious, you can see these are not all the papers we have to look at, but with time constraints, we would have to stop here. I'm hoping that you're enjoying and getting a recap of the things that are happening currently in the nation. So we're stopping here on the newspaper review segment. We are moving to This Week in History with S.A. Ufoma.
On May 22nd, 1906, the Wright brothers were granted U.S. patent for their invention of flying machine. This patent was a critical milestone in the development of aviation, as it detailed the fundamental design and control system for a powered, heavier-than-air flying machine. On May 23rd, 1934, the notorious American criminals Bonnie and Clyde were ambushed and killed by law enforcement officers. The couple would gain notoriety during the Great Depression for their bank robberies and car thefts, as well as for their dramatic style in which they operate. Their crime spree captivated the American public and law enforcement alike. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to be a millionaire? If you have, then this holiday is for you. On May 20th, we celebrate National Be a Millionaire Day and wonder what it would be like to be a millionaire. However, imagining millions does no good if you can't imagine how you will spend your millions. On May 24th, 1966, the military government issued Unification Decree 34, which aimed to replace the federal system with a more centralized government, although the Northern Bloc found this decree intolerable.
Okay, thank you so much, S.A. Ufoma. That was quite educating, interesting, and exciting. I've learned a lot, so much. Yes, thank you so much, S.A. Now we're moving away from This Week in History to the entertainment segment. All right, thank you for staying tuned. Now, on the entertainment segment, there's a particular news that has been going up and down, and this is actually a very big one. It's going to affect the Nollywood industry, especially movie producers, music producers. Now, the presidency is asking Nollywood to stay away from certain things in their movies, and a list of which money, ritual, smoking scenes, and some other scenes that portray violence, which could be like, should I say, an avenue where social vices or characters that are not expected from Nigerians and humans in general are being portrayed in these movies. And so the federal government is asking the Nigerian movie industry to stay away from scenes and movies that could portray such characters. There's so much to this story, and that is why I'm going to let Anastasia Eze give us the details of this report. Over to you, Anastasia.
The federal government has approved the prohibition of money, rituals, and glamorizing of vices in Nigerian movies. The executive director of the National Film and Video Censors Board, Shuaibu Hussaini, said this at a national stakeholders engagement on smoke-free Nollywood held in Enugu State. The event was organized by NFVCB and Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa. Movie producer, directors, and actors drawn from different parts of the country, as well as leaders of various guilds and associations in the Nigerian film industry, were present at the event. Hussaini said the sensitization program was to educate stakeholders on the danger inherent in the consummation of smoking in Nigerian movies. According to him, besides the health implications, glamorizing smoking in movies poses a negative influence on teens and young adults who constitute the largest segment of Nigerian movie viewers. He said that the board was set to undertake detailed enlightenment programs in secondary schools, tertiary institutions, local communities, faith groups, and other institutions.
Alright, thank you so much, Anastasia. Now, in as much as these developments could be seen as a very good one in terms of preventing moral decadence and upholding the morals of society, what could be the implications of this to the Nigerian film industry? Because, okay, there are times when certain movies, the theme of a movie would require such scenes. So what do? Should we just cut them out? So I feel there's so much more to this particular directive from the presidency asking the Nollywoods to stay away from such scenes. There's a lot to it. So we're just going to, I'm going to cut it here on the entertainment segment, and I promise to keep you updated if any things come up again in relating to these recent announcements that the federal government has given to the Nollywood, the Nigerian film industry, Nollywood. Thank you so much for staying tuned with me on the Brunch Show. This is where I'm going to draw the curtains. Thank you for staying tuned, and I hope you enjoyed every segment from the newspaper review to This Week in History and then the entertainment segments. I want you to stay tuned for more updates on the Value Chain YouTube channel. There will be news today by 7 p.m. where all the stories we talked about and the headlines and the newspaper review segment will be provided with details. So stay tuned. We have other programs. We have Kaswarmu. We have Sunday Star Feature. We have What's Your Say, where we give you an opportunity to share your opinions, your views on critical issues we have selected. If you have comments for us, the comment section is there for you. So make use of the comment section. Share your ideas, share your stories, and your opinions with us. Thank you so much for staying tuned. I remain Patience Moses. Goodbye for now.